Dun, 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 dun,
Boom.
dun, 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 dun,
Boom.
dun, dun, dun.
Boom. Boom. Boom.
Welcome everybody to Irwindale Speedway as we get ready for the iRacing 90-minute World Endurance Championship Figure 8 something or another presented by Vision. Everybody, good to be here at Irwindale again, Jeffrey.
Tommy, it is a Saturday. This is where we belong, up in the announce booth at Irwindale Speedway. We're getting ready, as you said, for a big day of racing to start things off. Multiple drivers looking just to make it into the big show. We got our last chance qualifier that's going to start us off here on this Saturday, a beautiful Saturday as it is. The fans are ready to go. We've been talking to a lot of people in the pits, Tommy. It sounds like this is going to be a barn burner of a B main.
Yeah, we've been walking through the pit area, and you can sense the nervousness a lot of these drivers have because they want in on this big show, the 90-minute endurance here at Irwindale and street stocks. And a lot of these drivers, you can tell they're kind of quiet, a little nervous, focusing on the qualifying session that's happening right now. So the qualifying is a 10-minute private session. Nobody can see except for the driver on track themselves. It'll be the best of 4 laps to determine your fast time. And from there, we just have to wait it out and see. Nail biter moment, 50 laps coming up after qualifying as these drivers all try to fight to get in. These were the losers from yesterday. And you kind of don't want to have to pack up and go home after this one, sure.
Now, some of these drivers, obviously, it's not that they necessarily weren't fast, but some of them had bad luck. This is figure 8 racing. We did see multiple intersections, multiple drivers get stuck in the pits. A little different than yesterday. We had no fast repairs. Today, in the LCQ, you get 1 fast repair. If you have an issue, you could possibly come back from it. However, with only 3 cars transferring in this B main, you're still going to have to pretty much rely on having no problems in this race. It'll be 50 laps. You're going to have, we still are waiting to see how many cars are going to enter into this race. But Tommy, with 50 laps compared to the 20-lap heat races yesterday, you have that fast repair. Are we going to see drivers drive this a little differently, or do you think it's still going to be go as hard as you can from the beginning?
Well, 50 laps is pretty long for a short race, if you will. Obviously, it's not going to be anything close to that 90-minute coming up after this. But 50 laps meaning if you get caught up in some sort of a big wreck in the first probably 10 to 15 at most, with that fast repair, you could be able to get back on track. You'll be multiple laps down, but you still have a chance with people around you that they'll get caught up and you can make it into the big show. So I think it is going to be a little bit more aggressive driving, not a lot of give and take as we saw yesterday.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. As you mentioned, qualifying only has, we're almost about halfway through the qualifying session right now, which means drivers still have an opportunity to make tweaks and get out some more laps. But right now, the fastest lap is David Key over Cody Stickler, Jimmy Crabtree, Ty Williams, and James Fox, the top 5. Mike Coop, Brandon Metler, Simon Grills, and Jeffrey Wooten, the 9 cars that have taken time in this one so far. A couple cars have been out practicing. It looks like Charlie's still working in the pit area right now, Tommy. That crew is scrambling on their setup.
Yeah, I'm over here in the pit area, and I can definitely say that Charlie. I tried to talk to him in his pit area. He's a little bit lost for words right now. What's going on is as he was buckling into his virtual street stock, what happened was, you know, when you that clicker when you put so in your car seat, right? The click that for the seatbelt, so that is jammed up. Also, what happened was another thing that happened in practice. Really weird coincidence. He had bumped. So coming to the start finish line out of turn number 4, there is a dip at the center of the crossover, the intersection there. And what happened was it knocked out of his street stock cigarette light out of his dashboard, and it kind of got stuck in the shifter. So they're scrambling to figure that out because it's so wedged down in there that they are needing to practically take apart the center console. So
You won't believe this. You won't believe this, Tommy, but that exact thing has happened to me here at Irwindale Speedway.
Yeah.
There's something about cigarette lighters
Mhm.
and there's something about shifters. Now, for me, it wasn't a demolition derby, and which means it probably hurt a little bit more when I had my issue, but we'll still see if Charlie's able to get his. In fact, he's pulling out on the track now.
All right.
And he's going to put down the 8th fastest lap up to this point. We have 11 cars who have now taken time. Key continues to lead the way with the 21.57 over the 21.914 of Stickler. So 11 cars have taken time up to this point. We're still waiting to see if anyone pulls into the pits here for a late entry, as it were. Now, Tommy, we had up to about 30 cars that could have entered, but did we scare some of them away?
I think we probably definitely scared them away.
You and I.
You and I, yeah. Nothing to do with the series or the race directors or tech. Even as much as tech can be a scare tactic, really, I think it was just you and I. So, unfortunately, they might not be able to make it. However, they could be still signing in at the entrance. So,
well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what exactly is going to happen with this one. Again, 50 laps will determine it. This will be the biggest car count race that we've seen up to this point. However, the main event will start up to, I believe, about 29 cars, just under 30 cars plan to take the start of that race. Those drivers all anticipated to show up. The B main, obviously, we still had some drivers that were deciding, do I really want to show up for this race?
Yeah.
Some guys still working. Now, this is an open setup race. And we've seen that already come into play. Some drivers going on the looser side, Tommy, but with this flat of a track, do you want more of a snug setup, or is this a track that maybe you can risk it a little bit?
Well, I think that every driver is obviously going to be a little bit different on their setup. I like to go with a snug setup because this is an endurance race. What you're setting yourself up for is the endurance. You don't really care about the fastest lap because you've got to have a bunch of lucky laps to get through the race. However, you look at drivers like Garrett Fox and others or Mason Keller, for example, those guys have this thing flat figured out. They are so fast out here, and they've not only got the setup, they've got the racecraft, and they're going to be obviously strong here again. They've already transferred in, so they're not in this race, but they've got the fast setup, and kind of like the big 3-hour or the 90-minute endurance race at the Speedrome. They're not really quote endurance races as much as they are sprint races. You don't see the top 5 slowing down. They're all trying to get the race over as fast as possible.
Well, this is going to be one for kind of the record books here, I think, especially the main event that will be coming up. Now, if you're going to be tuning in for that main event, that will be in just about 3 hours. I believe it's 6 o'clock Eastern time. Green flag should fly, so we'll probably have the broadcast going just about 10 to 15 minutes before that as we get ready for the main event. 90 minutes of action here at Irwindale Speedway's 3rd Mile Figure 8 track, a track that has been, I'd say on the full scale, this Figure 8 track's been underused. It's used, it's just in a smaller form now because we run them with enduro-style 4-cylinder cars on a regular basis at this point. And we found that smaller tracks actually put on a little bit more action with those cars because they're usually so tight. But with these bigger cars, bigger motors, this is going to be a fun kind of return to this track. We talked about this yesterday, Tommy. The layout of this track just looks wrong. Like, whoever designed this track said, hey, there's a light pole in the middle of the infield. We want to get as far away from it as we can. And it makes for a lot of speed heading into turns 1 and 3.
Yeah, so I feel like this is kind of a throwback to the Ascot Park Figure 8 because I've looked at photos of that one, and that one's just as screwed up as this. Actually, probably even more screwed up because I feel like they brought the intersection closer to the grandstands for that effect. But in doing so, they have really tightened up turns number 2 and 4. So that's going to be a challenge to get out of those corners to get across the intersection, and that's where things can go wrong because sometimes there's a gap there that you can take. Sometimes it closes up real quick.
Well, the cars are gridding. We're getting ready for racing here at Irwindale Speedway on a Saturday morning / afternoon. I'm Tommy. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one big B main event in regards to only 3 cars transfer. I know that you're sometimes a fan of bigger transfers, so we got only a couple cars that are going to make it out of this one. And you want to make sure that not only are your belts tight, but also that your computer's running good, that your internet's working. Like, there's a whole lot that goes into these iRacing events that you sometimes don't even have to think about when you have your regular car at the track. Granted, there's also things you don't have to think about on this side because you don't have your real car to take care of. Luckily, no matter what happens to your car, it's going to be able to get going a little bit later on. So you can lose some fenders in this B main event, and you could still be fine for that main event. We'll see what happens. I'm ready. The countdown ticker's going down.
Yeah, it looks like we've got the Porsche pace car out on track, so this will be a rolling start, unlike yesterday. And with that, the field will have to shake out all those nerves, as this is one of the regular length races that this league, the Extreme iRacing Figure 8 League, runs here at Irwindale Speedway, and this happens to be a B main, so regular distance, less cars obviously because it's a B main, but yeah, these drivers, they're all kind of familiar with this 50 laps, but they're not going to be familiar with having to only transfer the top 3.
Well, we saw some tempers get heated yesterday. We'll see what happens here today, but I can only imagine that with more on the line today, we're probably going to see them flare a little bit more, especially in this B main event. These drivers, each one of these drivers, Tommy, talking to them in the pit area, they are confident that they can make it. Some of them are confident they can make it because of bad luck of others. Others feel like they can drive away from the pack. We'll see what happens. I am curious to see just how many cars finish on the lead lap in this race alone.
Definitely. So we're taking a look here at the 83 of Crabtree, the 99 of Stickler, driver who's running so well at the Florida Southern World Finals. Also in the field, we got the number 58. Look out for Fox there. Jim Fox is second.
We're already having contact right now.
Yeah, we are. Field at the ready, Jeffrey. Are you ready for the B main?
Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. The green flag is in the air, and we are racing.
Key out to the early lead, Stickler. Oh, and around is Crabtree.
And a lot of contact in the back. Big trouble.
This is going to shake things up now for your top 3. That puts the number...
Oh, Jesus, people.
Let's see here, as they are all mixed up.
So the 83 machine of Crabtree went around, and that collected the 45 of Brent Huffman. Huffman also with issues.
You're riding with the 14 there of Williams, who is in the 3rd spot. He is a transfer, has trouble over in turns number 3 and 4, but so right now, if you're Williams, you're feeling pretty good. However, not too far behind, about 2 car lengths, is the number 58 of Fox.
Oh, we have one car upside down. The number 12 machine of Simon Grills. Through the infield, Tommy, it looks like just a little bit too much grip when that car got sideways.
Yeah, these things have traction-style rollovers and something with the game. I don't know what the method to the madness is, but they do traction roll quite a bit, especially on this figure 8 track when you're running such air pressures.
So in the pit area right now is the number 83 machine of Jimmy Crabtree, looking to repair some of that damage. Oh, we have another collision, hard hit, right at the start-finish line.
So we're taking a ride with Fox as you see him coming through the intersection. Number 58 machine outside of your transfer spot.
Big intersection! Sorry to cut you off there, Tommy, but we have cars flying on the front straightaway. It's Wooten, one of the cars, and he's going to pull it into the pit area. We now have 4 cars sitting in the pit area, including Brent Huffman.
Right now, we're only 8 laps into this 50-lapper. Fast repairs are there for the taking, but you only get one, so you gotta try to make sure to survive. And right now, Key, Stickler, and Williams have all survived. Fox is starting to apply more pressure now on the number 14 of Williams, who goes way wide. This is a battle for the transfer spot.
Oh boy, now we're going to be keeping an eye on this the entire race long. I'm keeping an eye in the pit area right now, Tommy. Mike Coop, another car, the 36 machine, sitting in the pit area right now. So 4 cars having work done. Now this can come into play. Now Coop's going to make it back on the racetrack. He's pulling out as you see this battle continue.
Oh yeah, they are rubbing doors, trading paint, going into 4 of the figure 8. They've got traffic coming across. Fox does lose some time now to the 14 of Williams.
Coop back on the racetrack. Huffman back on the racetrack. 2 cars left in the pit area as we watch the intersection getting hot and heavy with this battle.
Yeah, not only is this a battle for position, but they have to fight traffic through that crossover. We saw the Image 13. Oh yeah, saw the Image 13 onboard cam, and Fox, he's got a really, I feel like he's got a fast number 58. I think right now, oh, trouble for 14 and trouble for the
bigger
58.
problem for the 58.
I was just going to talk about Jeffrey, how I feel like he was kind of playing his cards. They get into it with Stickler, their second place runner. So major problems. Let's take a look over at the 99. You can see Stickler, he's still running. But another thing about these street stocks is while they're durable, they are also fragile in the motor department. So if you take on too much damage, you can expire an engine in this one. I've done it before with about 30 minutes left to go in the Coronas 200. And that was no fun.
Your transfer spot right now is the 14 machine of Ty Williams. But Tommy, he has definitely been playing that risk over reward. Oh man, or maybe risk for reward. Been flirting with disaster in that intersection. Got away with it when Fox got tied up. So the question I have for you is you know, how much do you want to risk? I mean, when you're talking about a battle like that, it did pay off for Ty Williams. These drivers are going to have to take this into, you know, make that connection and also put it into perspective in the main event later. You have 90 minutes that you're going to have to survive for that race. And, you know, how much do you want to be flirting with disaster at that point? We'll see what these drivers do as we only have 3 cars on the lead lap. Some of these drivers using the easy go approach that have kind of worked their way forward in this one. Metler Grills and Charlie Singtai, they're right now sitting outside looking in, but 1 lap behind your transfer spot. Anything can happen at this point.
Well, I think he nailed it with the Williams talk because he is the last car on the lead lap. He's got absolutely no pressure around him, that number 14 machine in the 3rd spot. So if he had a spotter with him right now, or if he had the relative distance on his screen, he could see that, okay, I've got no pressure, just take it easy, ride out these last, we're not even halfway yet, but ride out the rest of these laps and accelerate if needed.
Are
So
you
we're
serious? Well,
riding there with a 14, 3rd place runner of Ty Williams. Michigan driver who has to come to a stop.
Yep. Yep, that started about a half lap back. There was contact between the 12 of Simon Grills and the 45 machine of Huffman, and it seemed like those drivers are maybe not too happy. No, they've it's
The 99. Second place runner, the 99. He is about a half. So they're about a half track distance between each other. Stickler got involved with a crash a bit ago, a few laps, coming through that crossover. And for the 99 of Stickler,
Oh boy, 9 cars still on the racetrack, 2 still sit in the garage area at this point. And we got a big intersection at Stickler.
Jesus, guys.
This might help Williams, and it really might hurt Stickler. He's into the pit, so Stickler
Let the
outside
people on the lead lap go by.
into the pit area. Second place
Good.
runner.
That was Coop, who was also involved in that melee. So Stickler, our second place car, what this is going to do, Tom, is this is going to open up the conversation like we talked about those lappers further back in the pack. Brandon Mettler is going to be the one to kind of be able to get the reward from this one, as he'll be moving into the 3rd spot. 1 lap behind him is Charlie in that number 13 machine. And then James Fox, we saw the big hit, but Fox is still on track right now, hanging in there, just 3 laps back behind the leader. So it's still anybody's game to really make it into this race. If you're still in the race, you still have a chance.
Yeah, Stickler is dropping like a rock. He's back to 5th, still in the pits. And that tells me that he is out of fast repairs and hope is starting to dwindle down. However, anytime he can get back on track, we could see another scenario just like what he had to go through. And the 14 machine of Williams, he's now up to 2nd, getting ready to go a lap down there by the number 2 of Key.
That does come into play with this race, with iRacing. That's some people that maybe are less familiar with iRacing. When you wreck and you're not able to pull off the track, you can have a tow service, so to speak, come and get you. Now, I do think Stickler may have used his fast repair there, but he had to wait for the tow to get him back on track, and that takes time.
Good point. And absolutely wasn't even thinking about that.
Oh, wow, our leader.
Yeah, he came to a stop.
So Stickler is back on track, back in the 6th position. So he is now 3 laps down, and he's actually going to loop it out of turn number 4.
That's just aggression and desperation. If that's
Right, a
even
little bit
word.
of frustration mixed in with everything else. Stickler is out of the race. He has pulled the flag.
Yes, he did. He pulled the stick. He is done.
Oh, we got trouble into turn number 3. Some of these drivers are making less friends than others right now. The 12 of Simon Grills, we mentioned his car number a couple times with some drivers getting into it. He just slammed into the side. I think it may have been Wooten that he got into.
There's you, the intersection, getting busy as ever. As you're taking a look at Key and the 12 of Grills.
So Key, our leader, the number 2 machine, has about a 20-second lead over Ty Williams. Those are the only 2 cars on the lead lap at this point. Mettler in the 15 machine is the last car in so far in a transfer spot. Behind him is Charlie in the 4th spot, 1 lap behind.
Has an issue, who we're checking out right here. If he has an issue, that could be good for Charlie, but we'll find out. Everybody's separated by a lap between 3rd and...
Oh, and a big intersection hit, Tommy.
They are flying towards you.
The 16 machine involved in this one. And I believe the other car in it was Huffman.
Yeah, the 45 of Huffman. So, again, this race is nothing compared to that 90-minute race coming up here later on this afternoon, because it's going to be double, maybe even triple the race cars out on track here at Irwindale.
So, as mentioned, Huffman, having already had 1 big wreck, might be out of fast repairs.
Is that Wooten upside down over in turn 2?
That is very much Wooten upside down.
Oh, man. There he is, back into the pit area.
Oh, man.
So now we're taking a look at the 83 of Crabtree, who returns back to the racetrack, 23 laps down. It's been a while since we've seen Crabtree, but good to have him back on track. He is your leader. He's got himself a... He's actually getting ready to lap second spot, the 14 of William, right up ahead of the number 2.
And Tommy, I just got word from the Crabtree team. The reason that it took them 23 laps to get back on track is when he had his wreck earlier, his keys flew out.
Oh,
They couldn't start the car.
gotcha. So they were probably scrambling, looking in all the folds of the seats and everything. Yeah, done that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they found the keys or if they had to hotwire it.
Well, all I know is I see the guys down there with screwdrivers and pliers. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, definitely. Been there before. Well, you see the 14 machine of Williams. He is a lap down to your leader. You see the leader right up ahead, sideways, hanging on. Key there.
Yeah, don't accuse the leader of taking it easy. Oh man, they're gonna hit!
Whoa.
I don't even know what I just saw.
I don't either. Now that was...
14 drove through the leader.
Yeah. Harry Hogg must have told him to do that. Just drive through it. And by the way, I just want to point this out that Mettler and Charlie are now, or Charlie and Mettler are on the lead, or the same line. So we have a battle for the third spot.
Charlie's been catching them a little bit at a time. Earlier I checked in on it, and it was Mettler who was actually closing in on Charlie from behind. I thought he was actually going to put a lap on Charlie, and now I don't know if he's decided to take it a little bit easier as we get closer to the finish of this one. Almost 10 laps to go.
Charlie is in the wall in the number 13 machine, bouncing it off the wall, doing the whole Larson bit. But he is a half lap third spot Mettler in the number 15 machine. So you're taking a look at the 13 who is pushing like a dump truck.
Here's Mettler. Oh, Mettler! Mettler gets hit in the intersection! And he's upside down!
And he's stuck on his roof. He's stuck on his
The
roof.
moment that Charlie was waiting for.
The Charlie is in position to take the transfer. The number 13 machine, Charlie Siangtai, might have been caught lucky. We're going to find out here as Meller's in the pit.
Mettler's not happy. He's yelling from the pit area, and we can hear him from here.
Yeah, absolutely. With 10 laps to go at the line, the 13 of Charlie is now in position for the transfer.
Now, we have another intersection problem, and this one's James Fox, the 58 machine. I was just about to talk about him because he was one lap behind Charlie. I was going to say, if Charlie has a problem, that could be his thing. And oh my gosh, Tommy, second place is up in smoke.
Oh!
Looks like he's blowing the motor.
Look at that, the 14 machine. Might have to call Indy Auto Recyclers. He is headed into the pit, so he's got to use that fast repair.
If Simon Grills is able to make up enough laps, Grills could be the last transfer unless Williams is able to fix his car in time. This is going to be a battle between pits, lap traffic.
You have the
Cars
impact
in
on
the
the next
back.
track 13.
Williams did have a fast repair
Yeah,
because he didn't have to use the tow. He's already
Yeah,
headed
he
back to the racetrack right now.
All right, well, that's
Unbelievable.
He is winding this race down. Fox back on track. Williams back on track. Oh man, so this is just the LCQ, the most dramatic usually of the weekend, and it's proven to be just that.
So Williams only loses one lap in all of that. Charlie sitting in the third spot, the transfer spot, and he's got a 2-lap window over Mettler. I figure I'll just point out Mettler happens to be right behind Charlie right now. You know, it could come into play. Tommy, your leader's smoking!
Oh my goodness! What the heck's going on? These drivers, they need some Lucas oil or something.
Smoke is billowing out of your leader, the number 2 machine of Key, with just 5 laps to go, now 4.
Wow.
And Key is in the pit area. Is this something we need to watch out for in the main event, Tommy? Are these guys pushing the limits too far?
Well, the thing is, these street stocks, while they are durable, they're also, the engines are the weak link in these cars for the long distance races. So what's going to happen is if Key can get that car quickly repaired, he might be in position to land in that bubble spot, or he will lose the transfer battle. We'll see here as he rejoins the track. The number 2 machine, Key, who was your leader. Let's see where Williams clicks in at, the number 14 machine. Currently a lap ahead, but that is not updated just yet.
That was some quick pit work by the crew, dumping a bunch of water into that radiator.
So Williams seems to be still 1 lap down. Charlie in 3rd.
Yeah.
1 lap behind is Metler, the number 15 and 4th.
We have other cars that have just blown up. That's Wooten smoking on the back straightaway right now.
Man, I was hoping to go through till 9. That sucks.
So this is it, Jeffrey. 1 lap to go for Key, the number 2 machine, who had all kinds of drama in the last minute or 2.
Wow.
David Key, Indiana driver, coming out of the final corner in this LCQ here at Irwindale Speedway. A little crossover traffic, and that'll be the race. So Key, your winner, Williams second, and Cheap Charlie gonna round out the field of transfers. Metler, Grills, Fox, Huffman, Wooten, Crabtree, Stickler, Coop, all heading on that virtual trailer. Gonna have to control alt delete for the weekend.
Wow. Well, Tommy, we figured it was going to be exciting, but I don't think we anticipated it was going to be that crazy with every car. Literally every car, I think, had an issue in this race.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna see if I can get an interview with your transfer driver. 1 second.
Okay, Tommy's running down. I'm watching him. He's. There's a lot of steps here at Irwindale Speedway, folks. Sometimes he's gotta do some exercise. He's running down. He's at the bottom of the stands. He's waving Charlie over.
All right, I found our transfer driver. So Charlie, this mic right here. So Charlie, right here, I've got him the 3rd place runner. What was that race?
I didn't pass it. Walked down and kind of. I had to use one fast repair, but luckily I did not have to hit the go button, so minimize my downtime. And I was very surprised when I got in the last.
So when that position came available, were you all
Tommy,
in 100%, or did you continue your ride to get to the 3rd spot?
I was trying to just avoid everybody letting it go, and I didn't plan on actually making me. So here I am.
Well, hopefully you got plenty of seat cushion now, because it's going to be a long ride. 90 minutes coming up here in a little bit. Congrats to Charlie, Cheap Charlie, here getting that 3rd spot.
We heard about 75% of what.
It's just don't be Atlantic time. That's all.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Guys.
Tommy having his PA issues with his wireless microphone.
There you go. Did that work?
It did, but your sensitivity settings that we adjusted last night cut him out a bit.
Well, it just needs better batteries.
That's hey, you just need to not interview him under the flag stand. You know that.
I know that.
So
that was exciting. Holy cow.
Yeah. One last thing to consider for everybody. We've just set the last 3 cars into our 27 car lineup here. We took 24 cars from yesterday, I believe. We're at our 27 now today, maybe 28. I can't do math, but we do have provisionals that may be handed out, and that's going to be something that will be announced later. So when we come back for the broadcast of the main event, we'll let you know if and who they are. for those provisionals. But Tommy, that is yeah, I think that's a wrap here at Irwindale Speedway for now for the B main event.
So a lot of drivers right now, we're gonna wrap it up on this broadcast. But what's gonna happen next for the drivers that are competing in the future? They're gonna be practicing a whole bunch to try to dial in their setup for a 90-minute endurance race. Street stocks here at Irwindale. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I cannot wait, and we'll see you on the flip flop.